It's the On Stage podcast with Chris Robert.
Regular host Chris Robert is away. For those who don't know me, I'm Kylie Montigney, and I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and I'm also the host of successful Talk of Fame podcasts on many platforms, including YouTube, and the links will be listed down below. And so, in the description of this video, I'm also the founder of Empower Girls, a nonprofit organization, and Gender Bias. On today's podcast, all the way from Western Australia, we have super talented singer-songwriter Bailey Perrie. Her music has a clean, melodic, emotional style that carries country and rock undertones. Bailey has performed for previous venues all around Perth, including the REC Arena, the Royal Shell, and Optus Stadium. Music has been the fuel to her fire since she began writing at just 11 years old. And so with that, hello Bailey.
Hi.
And so thank you so much for joining us today. It's such a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
And so we'd like to hear more about you. Who is Bailey Perrie?
Well, honestly, I'm just a normal girl. But I love making music. I love dancing. I love theater, musical theater. I go to school most of the time. I'm not always at school. It can be hard sometimes, but I'm also currently doing a part-time course. So I am out of school 2 days a week doing a certificate for a musical theater. And yeah, that's most of it.
And so what first got you into music? In the statement earlier, we mentioned about music being the fuel to your fire since you were 11. That seems to be such a young age to start being in music.
Yeah, well, I think it helps that my mom's side of the family is Irish, so it's kind of like bred into the blood, but yeah, I've kind of just always been singing and dancing, but I did a workshop. So for singing, I did a mass choir production thing at the RAC Arena, and I got to sing a solo at the end of Fight Song, which was one of my favorite songs at the time, and I sung that last line, and there was heaps of people in the audience, and that was kind of just the moment where I was like, this is what I want to do, because it was so magical seeing all those people there to watch you sing that song. Yeah, and ever since I just wanted to get into it.
I love that. And so did you ever get things from people about who don't think you're kind of serious about music or kind of self-doubters about music while you've been doing this?
I definitely have had some bad comments. I don't get them really anymore. Seeing as I feel like now I'm a bit older, it's more like people know I do stuff myself. I don't know how to explain that, but when I wrote one of my first songs and made my first music video, Surely, I got quite a few comments on that saying I was using daddy's money. I also had one person say I was the reason condoms was made. It was pretty bad. And I was probably about 14, 15 at the time. Yeah, it was pretty intense. But before any of that happened, my parents did sit me down, and they were like, not everyone's gonna be nice to you doing this, and if it's what you want to do, you got to ignore them, because the amount of people who are gonna not like your music is definitely outweighed by the people who will support you and respect you. So
exactly, I totally agree with that. And so what is about music that makes you feel so passionate?
Probably just the fact that it can be shared to the world, and it's so much easier to get music on Spotify, on YouTube than it was back in the day.
Yeah.
And I love spreading positive messages. I love writing the songs, and I love the process. I also love all of the people it puts me in contact with, because I definitely, here in Perth, we have such a nice little circle of songwriters, and it's really nice because we all go to the same producer, and we all see each other at the same events, and it's yeah, it's just such a fun circle to be in.
I love that. Like, and plus, like you kind of mentioned this earlier in the interview, but what kind of inspired you to kind of get into the music scene, as you kind of said earlier?
Well, I actually did a workshop with who is now my producer. Maybe when I was about 14 and 11. I mean, and it was a songwriting workshop. We wrote a song, a group of us, and it was going to be played on like a local radio station or something like that. He guided us through writing the song, and I found it really natural, especially as an 11-year-old. I had never tried writing a song before, and it was really good. So we decided, if I want to stand out doing music, I've got to make my own stuff. Like, 'cause if you're singing covers, what's much is going to come from that. But yeah, so we booked a session with him in the recording studio, and I wrote my first song. I recorded it and released it on Spotify. And I sound like a chipmunk. I sound so young.
Oh my God, that's how I am now. Like, when I see previous interviews I've done, I'm like, oh gosh, why did I have to release that with a chunky voice or something like that?
Yes.
And like, how would you kind of describe the music that you typically create?
I'd say it's very positive. I always like to have a positive message in it, even if it is about a negative topic. I will try and like switch it to being positive. And I feel it always has pop undertones, but I really have loved experimenting with like all different styles. Like I've done a rock song, done country songs, and then of course the classic pop songs. So it's fun experimenting with that.
Absolutely. Like, do you have a favorite genre that you sing, or is it something that you like to kind of enjoy all of them?
I would say I do enjoy all of them, but the top for me is probably pop, because being a dancer, I love anything you can dance to. Yeah, pop is something you can really dance to. So I love doing music videos for them as well, because you can get everyone involved and do like a flash mob or something.
Yeah. And so, like, what would you be kind of doing right now if you weren't a singer-songwriter creating music?
I think I'd definitely be doing more like musical theater, stage shows and all that. Like, I feel like if I wasn't writing songs and making music, I would still be doing something in the arts. I also feel like I'd be like much more intense with my dancing. I reckon I'd be doing like hundreds of dance comps and stuff. But yeah, I honestly don't know what I'd do without music. It's really consumed my life since I was really young.
Yeah, like music is such like a big part in everyone's life, especially since COVID hit. Like music became a big part of everyone's life. Like, how has COVID kind of impacted you with music and stuff?
I found it definitely gave me topics to write songs on, but it definitely slowed stuff down. Like, there wasn't as many performance opportunities. There wasn't Well, it gave me a lot of time in the studio, so I went to the studio a lot, and I did release a few songs, but yeah, I couldn't perform them. A lot of things I had planned to be performing at were cancelled, and I had to find more ways of sharing my music online. So I found in that time of COVID, we really started working on my Instagram, and learning how to grow that. And yeah, and we've been doing pretty well. It's been working pretty well.
That's amazing. And so, like, what is like the creative process like for you? Do you like usually write the lyrics first or the music?
I would find I write both at the same time, because I find I have the melody and I have the lyrics and the melody, and I I've been experimenting with writing the lyrics first and then having melody first. I find having the lyrics allows me to like continue and write the story, but yeah, I find I usually have like 15-minute to like hour window where if I start writing a song, I've got to at least get to the first chorus, like the verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Otherwise, I'll just lose track of what I'm doing and I won't come back to the song. But yeah.
That's amazing. And so so tell us about your first album entitled Emergence. Like what like kind of inspired you to kind of like write it? Was there any like personal experience, like thing that happened or something that kind of inspired it?
Well, that was very much, we got to my 12th song pretty much and we were like, this is enough for an album. So we were thinking of names. I will say that name was mostly influenced by my mum because I am a very indecisive person. But yeah, it's pretty much about emerging. It's all like different genres of songs. So it's kind of me emerging, finding myself, finding the songs I like to do. And yeah, it's the cover photo for the album was actually taken by the amazing Chris Hussard, and it is an incredible photo. But yeah, it's super exciting. The inspiration was the fact that we didn't know how far I'd go with my music originally, and I have gotten to 12 songs and it's like, okay, like this is actually something that's moving and I'm actually doing pretty quickly. But most of my songs, you'd think they were influenced by something that's happened in my life, but most of them are, but a few of them are influenced by like other people, things that I've seen happen to other people. And yeah, of course, there's a lot where it's just my feelings and it's very vulnerable to me. So
100%. And your feelings are so valid. Don't forget that. And so your newest single, We're Gonna Be Alright, that was quite a song. We really loved it. And it's really very provoking song. And what were you kind of feeling at the time of the writing and the filming?
Well, that song was really, it was kind of just like the beginning of the year where everything in the world kind of just collapsed on like every possible problem just happened. Like there was the war in between Ukraine and Russia. COVID was still kind of a thing. And yeah, it was just like a crazy time. So I kind of wrote it in like knowing that it's like, we're gonna be all right. We just gotta stick together, get through it. Like we've done it before, and yeah, we can do it. So it's really just about staying positive and always affirming yourself that it's gonna be okay.
For sure. Like I remember like once COVID hit and like the war between Ukraine and Russia, I remember being like scared to death on what was gonna happen to the world and what our world is gonna kind of face today. Because obviously there's obviously like kind of tensions between Russia and Ukraine for years and stuff before the war even happened. But we didn't kind of know what was going to happen, how much it was kind of going to impact us today, especially with COVID happening and starting to clear up. We didn't know what was going to happen. And so thank God it's not like horrible to the point where everyone's kind of doing a war and stuff. So I'm like happy because like everything, it did turn out okay. And maybe not in like Ukraine and Russia, but with everyone else, things are getting better. And we're just very lucky to be living kind of in like a safe world today and be safe and very, very thankful about that.
Yeah.
And so like what social issues are you passionate about?
I'm really passionate about mental health, ensuring like you're okay. I actually wrote a song that focuses on children's mental health because as a child, I will say like times are really tough and all of the weight of the world is starting to be pushed on the children who really just like their childhood is a lot more limited than it was back in the day. But then there's also stuff like technology that's like making kids grow up faster and all that. And I found I went through a stage where it was just like everything was so confusing and it was really just me. Like I was finding myself. My poor parents had to hear me like having mental breakdowns because you're like trying to like just everything that's you can possibly think about, you're thinking about, and it stresses you out. And yeah, so it was really just finding like who you are, which I think also suits with emergence, because I feel like I found who I am now. And yeah, so mental health would have to be a big one.
100%. And so, like, how have like mental health help you kind of making a difference in the world? Like, did you ever feel something in terms of mental health that made you kind of feel so passionate about it?
Well, so I mean, I definitely have been through my stages of mental health where like I've just like overthought everything, and yeah, just like you kind of just like everything just seems negative and all that sort of stuff. But I found, yeah, writing songs definitely helps, because it's also like not only are you ensuring like other people know that everything's going to be good, you're also like reassuring yourself that everything's okay.
100%. And so, like, what is like the meaning of life for you?
I haven't actually put. I would like to have really strong friendships. To me, it's always being close to my family. Just and enjoying what you're doing. I want to feel like I'm not working, like I have a job, but I don't want to feel like I'm actually working. It's just like having fun, enjoying life, and also never putting a downer on anyone else's day, like always ensuring everyone's having a good day.
For sure, positively. I can't say the word. It is a big part to society, especially during COVID times, because obviously people are going through so many things that like you don't know what people are going through, and so positivity. I can't say the word for some reason. It's going to drive me crazy. But it's like being kind to one another is such a big thing because you don't know what people are going through in today's society. And plus, you might make someone's day that might impact them forever. So it's a big thing to be kind to people always.
Exactly.
And so, what is like one message you would give to your fans?
Just just be you. If there's something you want to do, go for it. Because I certainly wouldn't be where I am with music if I didn't just go for it. And just trust your instincts. Yeah.
And so, like, do you have idols that you look up to?
My idols would probably, I've definitely, as a child, it was always Taylor Swift, and it still is now. Because I just love how she broke from the country market into the pop market, and her songs are all such bangers. They're all so good.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, they definitely. At the moment, I'm really loving Tate McRae. I'm finding her music is just like, it's such like, she's one moment got a really upbeat pop song, and next moment it's like a really catchy melodic song. And yeah, I'm finding them really enjoyable to listen to. I've always loved Shawn Mendes, because I love his music. And I remember one time I watched Dan and Shay as pre-show for a Shawn Mendes concert. And ever since that, I've loved Dan and Shay. So
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. And by the way, did you listen to the new Taylor Swift album yet?
I actually haven't. I've listened to some songs because at TAFE everyone was listening to them, but I haven't like sat down and actually listened to a new album yet, which I keep meaning to do.
Me too. Like everyone's like asking me, like, Kylie, have you listened to the album? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel so embarrassed. Of course, there's so many music I like Shawn Mendes, Dave Crochet. Then there's so many people I'm like, gosh, I'm right behind schedule with Taylor Swift songs. I can't help myself. But how do you feel the internet has kind of impacted the music business?
In a way, it's definitely impacted it for good, and in a way, it's definitely impacted slightly like negatively for musicians. I feel it's definitely great in the sense of it's so easy to share your music. It's like easy to learn how to do music. There's always access to tutorials and stuff. But in saying that, I feel like that's also the reason why it's so much harder with music, because there's so many people now who it's so easy to do the same thing. And it's so easy to put your songs on Spotify. And it's about trying to find what makes you stand out. So Instagram, it's about just like experimenting, doing all sorts of stuff and finding what works, because it's always changing. So we're always trying new stuff, giving it a go, because what's the worst that can happen? But yeah, I will say the internet's definitely good for music.
For sure. And so, like, what's next for you with music or your life in general? What's like the next like big project for you?
My next big project is I'm hoping to start being mentored on music and just like spread it even more, become even more like full on with my music, but of course still having a social life, because that's something that's really important to me, still having my like social life. But I want to just like start writing song after song, and since I'm going into year 11 next year, so I want to graduate year 12, sorry, I am year 11, I'm going into year 12 next year. So I want to graduate, and then the year after that I want to just like really get into music and start traveling possibly.
I love that. Like, what, like, do you plan on going to college to study like music, or you just plan on this like going like doing whatever for music?
I am considering going, like, possibly going to WAPA to study musical theatre and maybe dance. But at the moment, I am studying a certificate for a musical theatre. But for music, I would say I'm currently doing a Cert 3, which will be done by next year. But I'm honestly not set on going to any university. I'm kind of just thinking I might just give it a go, use that to really just knuckle down and work hard on my music.
Oh, that's awesome. And like, you just finished shooting a horror film. Can you tell us more kind of about that in your role?
So that was really fun. It's the horror film is very intense, but it's lots of fun. That was actually a funny story as to how I got the role. So I almost wasn't going to audition for the horror movie, because I'm not a horror person at all. I've like never watched a horror movie before. The worst I've watched is like Coraline or something. But yeah, so I got the audition information. I was like, no, it's a horror movie. But then I really looked into it. I was like, oh, I think I'm the good character in the horror movie. So I auditioned. I fully quizzed the director. I'm like, do I have to kill anyone? Do I hurt anyone? Like, I was really, I was really interrogating the director. And then I happened to get a call back. I got to meet the other sisters. So I play a sister to two other sisters. And then, we started filming, which was really fun. My character is the good character. I found my character was like, I found it really easy to relate to. It was like easy to kind of compare it to a character I had already played, because I had just played Matilda in my school productions of Matilda the musical, and I was also playing a younger character in the movie, because I think I was playing about 12 and I was 15 at the time. No, I was 16 at the time. Yeah, I was 16. I auditioned at 15. And it was lots of fun. It was definitely intense. It was an intense schedule. It was 4 weeks on the go. I was rushing back and forth to dance comps, but we did our first week of filming in a paperbox like forest, and it was intense. Like, we had to wear skimpy dresses in the middle of winter. There was like cow poo everywhere, and we were barefoot the whole time. So our poor feet. I think I had dirt under my like toenails for about like probably about 2 months after the filming. But yeah, it was definitely fun. I will say I'm grateful for the experience of the paperbacks, but I'm glad the paperbacks is over and I would not go back because it was painful. But the filming at the house was lots of fun. It was where we really all got to bond. Like I got to bond with the cast and the crew. We were staying in the house, so whenever we were filming, I was that one. If I wasn't needed, I'd just like run away and hide in my room until I was needed, or I'd either be snacking because I love my food. But
Me too. And so, like, can you tell us more about Matilda the musical in the chaos of kind of rehearsals and performing? What was kind of like your mindset and stuff?
The good thing for me was with learning the script, when I first found out I was playing Matilda, I got really excited. So I kind of just like learned the script, which I think worked best for me because I kind of already knew the script. I still stayed on script because everyone else was during rehearsals. But when we were told to put the script down, I knew all my lines, and especially with some of the really long stories Matilda has to tell. But I found with that I really I worked on finding the right like young British accent. It was the rehearsal schedule actually wasn't too bad. It was because it was through school, so it was Tuesdays after school and Thursdays after school for 2 hours, and then I'd be rushing to dance afterwards. But before the actual performance week, we went on holiday because the performance was changed due to COVID, and we had to cut our holiday short. We had gone up to Carragini, and we had to come back, and we came on the caravan. We came and we jumped out. We did our like dress rehearsal, and then we stayed at my grandma's before like the other rehearsals. But it was lots of fun. I'm so grateful for the experience. And yeah, I wouldn't change it for anything.
I love that. And so, like, what was kind of lockdown like for you during COVID? Like, I know for basically everyone, it was kind of experience that no one kind of imagined happening. But like, what was kind of that experience staying home and not basically leaving the house and stuff?
Well, it was not too bad. I found because I'm quite like if I'm not doing something, I'm at home resting anyway. So it was really a forced rest. But I would try and get out of the house whenever possible. So if my mom's like, "Oh, I have to do the food shopping," I'd be like, "I'm coming." So I just like do whatever I could to get out of the house. But yeah, it was fun. I wrote lots of songs. We still had to do school. I can't say I did much school, but but yeah, nah, it wasn't too bad, which is good.
Yeah, for me, like, I'm like a homebody, so I'm like, I don't care. Like, it didn't like affect me that much since I love being home and doing nothing all the time. So like, it's like amazing for
Yeah,
me. And like every time like either my parents would go out of the house, I'm like, I'm coming with you. Like, I need to leave this house. Like, this is I'm like, it got me so upset that I had to stay home. That I'm like, I just need to go on a walk or something. Like, this is got me insane.
yeah. And
And
I feel
so,
like it was. Oh,
oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
I feel like it was almost like once COVID hit, it made you want to go out of your house even more.
Yeah, it did. It really did. And so, like, what is the best piece of advice another musician ever gave you?
um. Oh, I remember just like being told to just like my piece of advice was from my primary school music teacher, and he said no covers for Bailey, which pretty much he was saying to write original songs and give it a go. And if we hadn't had that advice, we would have never like done the songwriting workshop, never have tried writing songs, seeing where it went. So to me, I'd say that's probably the most valuable piece of advice because that's what really started the entire my songwriting journey and my music journey.
I love that. And so, like, what is like your process for dealing with performance anxiety?
I find I make sure I'm really warmed up. If I am like super scared for a performance, I'll have a shower in the morning, and I'll do my warm up in the shower. I find like I'll take a few deep breaths before I go on stage, and then from there it's really just going for it. I find it always takes me one song at least on stage before you're properly like good and comfortable on stage. So I do struggle with like one song performances, but COVID definitely affected my performance, and like the anxiety I get before performances, because having the lack of performance experience just definitely affected my performances. But now I feel like I've started to build it back up, and I'm not getting as nervous before I go on stage anymore.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, what helps you like kind of film during a video, like if like a YouTube video, or you're kind of doing like self tapes or doing like writing a song? Like, what kind of helps you kind of film a video?
Well, definitely my family. They keep me on track. They do all the organizing. They're very helpful with that. I love videos where I can get my friends involved. And also sometimes I find videos of like just me. They're nice because it's like you can just get them done, stay on track. And yeah, really with filming, it's just about doing it there and then, making sure you don't get distracted. And yeah, giving yourself a time frame to do it in.
Mm-hmm. How long does it like usually take to kind of film a video? Either if it's like a music video or something. Like, how long does it usually take? Because I know all artists are kind of different when shooting music videos.
Yeah, when it's a video of just me, it probably takes about 3 hours, I'd say. We just recently filmed one in the city, and it probably took about 3 hours. But when I'm filming with multiple people in the video, it'll probably be like a day shoot, maybe 5 hours. But yeah, it's pretty good. We do get it done quite fast. And then depending on who's editing, my dad's really gotten into learning how to film and edit, and he will do it literally like 2 days after we started the filming. But I used to have a videographer, and it would take him about like a month, maybe 2. But yeah, it's pretty good.
And so, like, what is like your favorite kind of song to perform? Either it's by you or a different artist.
My favorite song to perform would probably have to be, I have a song that's actually not released. It's called Underdog. It's going to be the final song on my album, and it's definitely my favorite to perform because, seeing as I'm doing musical theatre, it uses my belty range, which I love using, and it's lots of fun to sing. It's nice and simple. And I find even if I am a bit nervous before that, it never shows. So.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, I read that you dance 15 hours a week. Like, can you share a kind of little more about that and how you manage to get that many hours done of dance in a week?
Yeah, it's pretty much I dance every day but Friday and Sunday. But I love dance. It's my happy place. My dance friends are like, I love my dance friends so much. I don't know what I'd do without them. And yeah, it's just, I usually will be coming like straight from my TAFE course, or I usually have about an hour at home before I have to go to dance after school days, which is good. I do get a little rest. But yeah, I'm pretty much always dancing. I'm always listening to music I can dance to, even in the shower. I'll be like singing it out in the shower. But yeah, dance is definitely my happy place. I love dance.
Me too. Like, dance is definitely like I literally do dance 24/7. Like, like people always say, "Oh my gosh, Kylie, you're always dancing." Even out in public, I'm always like doing something or even dancing in the shower. That's how many times like I do dancing. It's crazy. I do dance everywhere I go. Even today, I was like even doing dance roller skating. Like, I couldn't help. But for the video Take It In, like, did you use drones for the aerial shoots or did you use stock footage?
We used drones. So my dad actually went and he bought a drone, which was really exciting. He had been like learning how to film and stuff because that was the first proper video he filmed as we were up in Carragini, so we couldn't really bring anyone with us to Carragini because it's like 15 hours from where we live. But yeah, it was definitely lots of fun. The drone footage looked really cool. Half of that was also actually filmed on his phone. And it was definitely a big learning experience for us. We learned, he learned how to film, how to edit, and I think he did a really good job for the fact that was his first music video that he filmed and edited.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think he did amazing. I absolutely loved it. And
Thank
so,
you.
did you use a dance choreographer for the song Field? I know it's a professional technique, and I love the song. And like, who are the others kind of dancing with you? Was it like your dancing team, or was this kind of like professional dancers and stuff in that music video?
So yeah, that was actually I choreographed the dance, and I filmed it on YouTube. I made the link unlisted, and I sent it to everyone who said they were going to be in it. And yeah, they all learned it. We gave them the date we were going to film. They all came. We had a morning where we rehearsed it and organized it, and then that afternoon the videographer came and he filmed it for us. But it was really fun. I did it with all my dance friends, but that was before I moved to dance school, so it was with my older dance friends. And yeah, it was pretty good. I met a lot of new people too because we put an open call on like Star Now and that. And yeah, it was really fun, and it was great getting to dance with all my friends.
And so, like, what is the song "My Way Out of the Dark" about? And congratulations on reaching #1 on the Oz Country Music charts.
Thank you. That song's just about how you have that person you rely on, and you may not always be super close with them, but you always know you can turn back to them, and that if you are in a dark place, they'll be your way out of the dark. But yeah, it's really just about that person who you know you can always trust and rely on, and who is always there for you.
I love that. And so, like, why is the song so meaningful to you? Because I know for me, there's always someone that there's always there for you no matter what you're going through. And so, like, how is the song so kind of meaningful for you personally?
I find it's meaningful to me in the sense of it's like I have those friends who will always be there for me. I don't have to be hanging out with them 24/7. Some of them I don't even go to the same school. But I know even if we drift apart, if I were to go back, it would be as if we never drifted. And it's always good to have those friends. And they're those friends you can tell them anything, and they will always help you, and they'll always be on your side.
100%. And so, like, what other instruments can you play besides the piano? Like, is it just piano?
It's mostly just piano. I go through phases. I've definitely been through my ukulele phase, but I couldn't say I can play it anymore. But yeah, it's mostly just piano.
And so, for the song "My Time," it's such a great song. And so, can you give us a little more about how this song came to be? For the final question.
That song was actually my first ever. Well, it was supposed to be my first ever collab. But it kind of didn't work out like that. What happened was I got given a track. I wrote the song, and I really liked the song I wrote because it was really just about like relaxing, chilling, coming into summer, having fun. And I sent through my demo to the person who made the track, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's great, but we're gonna have to change this, this, and this." And pretty much the way he said it was he didn't like the song at all. But to me, it was like, well, you gave me the track for me to write the song, and I like the song, and I'm not changing it because I find I'm quite stubborn when it comes to my music. Like I'll change one or two words given advice, but I learned that day. I'm not a big collaboration fan. And instead we let him have his track back. We went back to my producer. He made his own track that sounds similar to go with the music, and yeah, it ended up making a really good song. I find that song's actually a bit of the underdog. Like, it's the one that's I forget about a lot, at least, and because it was so like rushed and last minute and crazy, it's kind of like I always forget about it. But it's definitely a good song, and I definitely love it.
And so thank you so much, Bailey, for joining us. It was so great time with you. And so who we really appreciate your music, and we look so much forward to hearing more and what you do. And do you have any ending thoughts for your fans and those who are watching the interview?
I've got lots of music to come, so definitely keep an eye out for that. And I hope you're all having a wonderful day, week, year, and never stop being you.
I love that. I really love that. And so thanks so much for coming on, Bailey. It's been such a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had such a great time.
All these mistakes I ever made, they fill me up with too much shame. They build me up, they break me down, as if I'm lying on the ground. Think I'm at my lowest of lows, now there is only one way to go. So please just let me say this now, before my voice becomes too drowned out. Oh, I'm sorry for all the work that you've done. I didn't mean for this to happen, but now my chance is all gone. Yeah, I'm sorry. Please don't leave me stranded, 'cause I really need your help now, since I think you might be my way out of the dark.